The simple future in Spanish expresses actions that will happen in the future, which often corresponds to the English will plus a verb, like saying, I will eat. Unlike many other tenses, the Spanish simple future is made from infinitives and endings, so we keep the infinitives intact and add endings that are always the same for any type of verb. The endings look like this, and most have accents to emphasize the stress when a verb is conjugated. Has, ha, hemos, eis, han. Let's take the verb hablar, to speak. To conjugate it in the simple future, take the infinitive and simply add the future endings. Hablaré, hablarás, hablará, hablaremos, hablaréis, hablarán. The meaning of the words is I will speak, you will speak, etc. Now, let's see the verb comer, to eat. Comeré, comerás, comerá, comeremos, comeréis, comerán. Now, let's see the verb vivir, to live. Viviré, vivirás, vivirá, viviremos, viviréis, vivirán. As we've seen, in every type of verb, there are no stem changes, so the pattern is basic, because all we do is add future endings. However, it's important to see irregular verbs in this tense, because some verbs are irregular due to stem changes, but they still use the same endings. In this case, we only need to know the endings and remember the stems of irregular verbs. Memorizing all irregular verbs is a lot to take in, so instead, it's better to know the most common ones, like tener, to have, hacer, to do or make, decir, to say, poder, can or be able to, poner, to put, salir, to leave, venir, to come, querer, to want, saber, to know. Once again, such verbs are irregular in their stems, but the future endings are always the same for any type of verb, so we just have to remember them. Now, let's see when to use the Spanish simple future. Its most common use is the future, like saying, mañana estudiaré. Viviremos en España. Another use is probability or speculation, which is something that English doesn't do in the same way. In expressions like serán las tres and estará en casa, the future tense can mean probably or must be. Another use of the tense is promises and strong intentions, like te llamaré. Nunca olvidaré esto. Considering this, Spanish has two ways to talk about the future. The first way is the simple future, estudiaré mañana. But the second way is the near future, using ir plus a plus an infinitive, like saying, voy a estudiar mañana. The difference between the two is that the simple future is more formal and distant, while the near future is for immediate plans, which is very common in spoken Spanish. It's good to know that the future can be expressed in two ways, because if you forget one way, you can always use the other. Additionally, time expressions are often used in this tense, like mañana, luego, pronto, algún día, la próxima semana. Still, the tense has a subtle but important insight. In advanced Spanish, the future tense often carries a tone of distance, prediction, or uncertainty, not just time. If we say, va a llover, it means that you see clouds that are very likely to rain. However, if we say, lloverá, This means that it will rain from a predictive standpoint, so it's less immediate. Overall, this is how the simple future fully works in Spanish. It's made from infinitives and endings that are the same for all verbs, while some have irregular stems. The tense is used for future actions, probability, and promises, and it's often replaced in speech by ir plus a plus an infinitive.